So if you are trying to record drums in Cakewalk by BandLab, then you know that you have to have some type of drums. Like either you're going to use electronic drums outside and record via MIDI, or you're going to use your acoustic drum set and record live audio, or you have to use some type of plugin. And Cakewalk comes with the amazing SI drum kit. It is a great kit, but it is always awesome to have other sounds inside your DAW. I downloaded and installed the MT Power Drumkit, and I actually did a video about this on my other channel, Waveform Explored, where I showed how to install it into Waveform. Now, once you install any plugin, it should automatically pop up in any DAW. You might have to go search for it and find it, but in this particular DAW, Cakewalk had found it right away. So I want to show you how to record using the MT Power Drum Kit. Basically, you're going to go over to your right, or it might be to your left, depending on where it is in your browser section. Now, if you don't see it, you can press the B on your keyboard, B as in boy, that is, and it will show up. And I want to click on where it says Instruments. Now you might see audio effects, you might see MIDI effects, and you want to go to instruments. All right, so the first thing, if you want to just record it just straight out, you can just add it and then it'll create a track. But this is what you want to pay attention to, where it says Insert Soft Synth Options. First, you want to create these tracks, simple instrument tracks. So what you do is just click on that and you should be good to go. Press OK, and it's going to give you one track. Now, once you see the message for MT Power Drum Kit, it will let you know that, hey, if this is a free version, you know, but you can offer a donation, and I would definitely do that. Okay, we have sound. We have a mixer here, which is going to be very important later on when I show you the next step. There's two ways you can actually go about recording. If you want to just record your own, you can press Alt-0 and bring up the virtual controller, or if you have a keyboard controller of some sort, or if you have your electronic drum pad like Elisa's and you want to hook up via MIDI or USB interface, you may do so that way too as well. Okay, all right, so I can do it that way. I also could use the internal style and grooves that are here. So I can click on 4/4 grooves, eighth hat, half open hi-hat, and when you click on it, you can press play. When you click on it, when you double click on it, it'll play. You notice it's coming out of that track right there. All right. And you'll notice the play button is at the very bottom. Now, say for instance, I want to add this groove to my track. All I have to do is just drag it down here to what's called the composer. And the composer will allow you to add multiple tracks and then just drag the whole thing to your DAW. So this is amazing. So let's say I want to do that. Okay, and maybe I want to make that longer. So let's do 4 bars. All right, let's erase this one. Press the X button and you're good. Okay, and let's put a little fill in here. I don't know how long the fill is, but maybe I made it too long. We'll find out. Okay, let's start over. Okay. Okay, if you want your velocity heavy, you can do that. Keep it normal. All right, so then after that, you can stop it. Simply just move it over and then add it right to that track. And it should add everything that was there. So let's listen. Okay. All right. It added everything that was there, and that's it. Now, that's the first part. Now, the second way of doing things is a little bit more advanced. And if you are a drummer, you definitely know, or if you're just a producer, you know that it is much easier and beneficial to be able to mix things all the way. So you want to have separate tracks, definitely for drums. Always, I would always have separate tracks, unless it's just something that you're just trying to do a quick demo and get it out the way. I'm going to delete this track and I'm going to go to MT Power Kit. I'm going to add it over again. And this time I'm going to go down to where it says all synth audio outputs. Now you can do stereo or mono. So I'm just going to do stereo, but I'm also going to add a MIDI source. The reason why you'll see in a moment. The MIDI source is just going to create a MIDI track basically. Press OK. And it's going to create 8 tracks, right? There are 8 tracks that are associated with the MT Power drum kit. So you have the snare and hat, and we can look exactly down here at the mixer and see how many it has, right? So most of these you might not want to have on separate tracks. Like I like to keep my toms on the same track, and I like to keep my cymbals on the same track. So we know that the kick is going to be output 1. We're going to change the snare to output 2. Side stick I put on 2. We're going to do the hat to 3. 3. And toms on 4. 4. 4. And then let's do, well, you know what? I might actually do the toms on separate tracks. Let's see. So tom, this is on 4. Let's put this on 5. Let's put this on 6. And then let's put this on 7. Okay. And let's put the crashes on 8. And we'll put the China on 8. Okay. All right. So everything should be set up correctly. And then I can go back to my MIDI track, which is at the bottom. So all of these tracks at the top are audio. They're really audio / MIDI tracks, but we need a straight MIDI track. And then we need to make sure that it's set up correctly. So we want the output of it set to the MT Power Drumkit. And then we want the input to be set to, I'm just going to keep it on Omni. You have an Omni. That means whatever you have plugged in, it should automatically read, right? And I know that I'm getting a signal because when I press my Alt 0 to pull up my virtual keyboard, I'm getting a signal. Messed up a little bit at the end. All right, so I've recorded this and then I can listen to it play back. Okay, and you'll see that it's playing. That's all bass drum. That's a snare. And that's a hat. All right. Want to put up the console view? Press C. Want to pull up the console view? Go to view. Okay, console view is going to be Alt 2. All right. And then I can see it here too as well. Okay, cool. And if I want to work with that groove, I can go about quantizing it. Now, this is where it might get a little tricky. Okay, so now what happens if you want to have these tracks separated MIDI-wise? Because maybe I played this groove, but maybe I want the bass drum to be quantized a separate way. Now, what might be easier is if you just automatically enable record, and you can do it a bunch of different ways. You can just record the bass drum part out, and then you can actually go up there and add it in, or you can do the step sequencer, or you can use a piano roll to put it in. There's a bunch of different ways you can go about recording, but what's important is that you can have separate tracks. Now, another thing that I like to do is I like to create multiple MIDI tracks or multiple instrument tracks. So I can take this MIDI and I can duplicate this track, and I'm going to say Let's duplicate it 4 times. I only really need 2 more tracks, actually, to be honest, because I only had 3 instruments on there, bass, snare, and a hat. So I can say 2 tracks, events, and then press OK. And now what I've done is I've duplicated all the data, right? So what I want to do after that is I want to go to like this one, and I want that to be my bass drum. Cool. Then I'll go here. That's not my bass drum. Here's my bass drum. Anything, I'll highlight it, delete it, delete it, delete it. Okay. And that's it for that. And then I'll come here and I'll say I want this to be snare. That's my snare. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. That's snare. And then this is the hats. Don't need that. Don't need that. And then that's it. And so now when I play it, okay. And the reason why I did that, it would have worked just having it on one track, but now I'm able to quantize it differently. Like that bass drum part, like dook-a-dook. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a do-do-do. All right, so I know that that's 16 notes. All right, so I need to make sure that I have those 16 notes right. And then maybe I don't want the snare to be quantized that way. So when I click on it, I know I keep right clicking, but I mean to just click on it, left click, press Q, and let's do 16 notes, and let's see how this bass drum works. Okay, now you can tell it's a little off, right? Didn't quite like that. So let's go back, press Q again, maybe do 30-second note. Maybe I'll change the note durations. Let's see. Okay, now it's even more off, or slightly a little off. It's okay because it might be the way that I played it. And this is one of the biggest things I think with drum editing is making sure that you get the quantization right. If you're going to quantize it, you don't necessarily have to quantize it, but it's always good to get it right. So let's see, note durations, and let's change the strength a little bit. Okay, let's try that. Oh, what was that at the end? Okay, yeah. Let's save this. MT Power. Okay, it's drums. MT Power. Okay, got it saved. Now, that still might not be ideal. Quantize the snare. Then see, now I can do the quantize on 4th because I only did like quarter notes. Okay. All right, good enough. Not perfect at all. I would go through, I would fine tune and make sure that these are lined up the way that I really want them to be, or I would record them again. But this is a big help because now you are able to really mix these drums. And now that I have the drum audio, which is up here, I can actually just go on here and I can add EQ to it. I can add effects, whichever. So this is a great way to do this. I hope it's helpful. If you have not tried MT Power Drum Kit, please try it. It is amazing. It is free. Now, of course, it doesn't have all the great features, but I think it's a little bit more advanced than the SI Drum Kit that comes with Cakewalk. So if you liked this video, focus on recording drums, you're going to like the next video, which is going to focus on recording bass guitar in Cakewalk by BandLab. Check that out.